Good morning, Eldwick. As most of you already know, I'm Reverend Dr. Hayley Matthews, Director of Lay Training for the Diocese of Leeds. Now, our theme this morning is loss. But first of all, I must confess that as a little girl, I had an especial fondness for Boney M. I mean, who couldn't love Rara Rasputin, lover of the Russian Queen, or indeed Daddy Cool, Daddy Cool, ah ha ha, ah ha ha. But the song I loved with all my heart and can still sing word for word is this one. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yeah, we wept as we remembered Zion. What a beautiful lament of a people unable to connect with their traditional ways of worshipping in a new and uncharted territory. Now, this is unusual for most of us white Europeans. We're used to being in control, being in charge, even calling the shots. We decide what is changed and when. We decide where we're going to worship and how. Goodness, we've even spent the last, 400 years sailing around the world telling others, even entire indigenous people groups, how to live their own lives in their own land. And then along came COVID. We too joined our brethren across the world, our black and white, red and yellow and brown brothers and sisters, who could probably only watch with bemused curiosity our alarm at not being able to put on the air conditioning at work or nip out whenever we chose to wherever we wished. Unlike our brothers and sisters, though, we have become exiles from the fictional world we have been living in, the one that we thought we had control of, the one that we thought was predictable and safe and, well, best for everyone. And I'm wondering whether Jesus begs to differ, because it seems to me that through all of this, God is giving us a right royal kick up the backside. We've been forced to lose all of our familiar ways of worshipping. We've lost our freedom, our recreational activities, and for many, even our work. We're being led by Boris and his ministers through a quagmire of confusion where it seems that not only do inequalities exist, but they are widening at a worrying pace that may quickly make us all a lot poorer than we ever have been before. If it sounds terrifying, I guess it's because it is. Yet Paul reminds us through his letter to the Philippians that we are all on a journey. Essentially, at baptism, we signed up to a lifelong spiritual quest. And in all great questing tales, whether it's Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or even the mercurial monk Rasputin, individuals are called to persevere through great and multifarious hardships, to leave behind their familiar friends and comfortable accommodation, to wrestle with evil and temptation, and most importantly of all, their own inner demons, to attain the goal which is always and ever shall be the defeat of darkness, that light may liberate all. We too are called to exile, to leave the traditions and comforts and even the power that we have known behind, to stand alongside the migrants and displaced people across the world as brothers and sisters who finally understand just a little bit of what exile is all about. It's not just about seeing groups of displaced people as impinging upon our nice, neat national borders or our benefit system or even our cities, towns, and villages. No, it is about recognizing that we don't belong here any more than they do, because we are all pilgrims on the path of love, children of God, following a Christ who challenges us with the words, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a person give in return for their own soul?" Paul reminded the Philippians of that too. He recognized that we are called to be willing to give up everything that we might gain Christ. He wrote, "For his sake I have suffered the loss of all things, and I regard them as rubbish, in order that I may gain Christ and be found in him." What is it then that we have lost since the COVID pandemic began? I don't know about you, but I've lost my Nana, heart of my heart. Life has irrevocably changed without her, as have I. I've lost some of my identity, being trapped in a house, homeschooling two young children. What a leveler that is. They don't care very much for role or status, let me tell you. Whatever the request is, the answer is usually. I've also lost some of my flippancy. These are serious times and I must take them seriously. And some of my carelessness with others. People are suffering, and I must listen carefully to them and to their needs. I need to be absolutely present to discern whether an individual is really saying what they think or feel, or just repeating what they think I want to hear. Yeah, I'm fine. Are you? I'm observing and inwardly digesting more than I ever have before. And I've also battled my own demons, not least boredom and motivation. What a weird combination they are, when the more bored you are, the less able you feel to get started on the 101 activities you'd normally give your right arm to do, but never have the time. There have been any number of losses, and I'm fairly certain that your list might be a lot longer than mine, given my own privileged lifestyle, for which I am eternally and deeply, deeply grateful. However, what I have gained is perspective, intention, planning and preparation instead of racing around and reacting, deliberating decisions over decisiveness. And above all, I've gained time with God, times of silence, times of prayer. I prayed with more lay people through online learning than I could ever have imagined possible last year. I've even got my guitar back out on occasion and worshipped alone. Imagine that. I've gained a deeper appreciation for the relationships in my life and for those people who need relationships but whose paths don't usually cross mine. I've read much to make me think about the world we live in, creation and others, and I've reflected on the fact that so much of that which I've lost turns out not to be all that important after all. That gaining Christ, gaining perspective, gaining new relationships, gaining assurance of my place in a worldwide web of diverse brothers and sisters who need me as much as I need them. That is the point. My dear and beloved friends here at Eldwick, we are on a quest. Our losses, great and small, are all caught up into Christ and transformed, shining from us as the gifts of the Spirit that are, like wisdom, more precious than rubies. However hard it has been, however hard it will be, whatever, whomever you have lost, take up your cross. Look to your brothers and sisters for strength, or if you can, be their strength, and together head towards the light. It is there. It has never gone out and will only become brighter as we add to it our own. At baptism, our quest began when you or your godparents were handed a lit candle with the words, "Shine like a light in the world, to the glory of God the Father. Amen." And so now, as a fellow exile, a pilgrim on the path to love, I say to you, arise and shine. Shine like a light in the world, to the glory of God the Father. Amen.